Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome here to Pop Culture Philosophers. Welcome to PCP Movie Night. It's where we gather every Monday night and we talk about the movie of the week. We're in the midst of Crew's Choice right now. Tonight is Phable's pick. We're talking about Martin Scorsese's The Wolf of Wall Street, starring Leonardo DiCaprio. This is a first-time watch for me, and I'm a huge fan of Scorsese's work. But this was one that I missed when it first came out, just never got it back around to checking it out. So I'm very happy when I saw it on the list for Phable's pick. So since it is Phable's pick for Crew's Choice, let's bring in Phable from One Collection Down. What's up, homie?
First time pick. First time watch, rather. Station, what's going on, guys?
Dude, excited to have you here and chat about this movie. You've joined us for many Marty conversations, so this is going to be super fun. Also joining us, as usual, is Jelani. What's up, homie?
Also, I love this movie. I love it so much. Station, y'all. It is quite possibly the most toxic film I have ever witnessed, and I'm so glad I'm here to talk to you about it.
Heck yeah, man. Glad to have you here. Speaking of toxic, it's Brooks. How's it going, Brooks?
What's up?
I believe this was also a first-time watch for you.
Yep, it was. This is not one I caught back in the day when it came out.
Yeah. All right. And rounding out the panel, of course, we got Joe Corallo in the house. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited to talk about what's probably Scorsese's greatest film of the 21st century. And I know some of you are probably thinking, like, Joe, what about Shutter Island? And I gotta say, I think this beats Shutter Island. I don't care what anyone says.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Shutter Island, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no one should be.
I do think The Departed might be on the same level. Me personally, I do like The Irishman. It's got a lot of things working against it, but there's a lot there that I also like. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd have to really think about that. And I haven't seen that. What was that last one he did? Like Flowers of the Blood Moon?
That's why I can't say it definitively, because I haven't seen that one yet.
Okay, word. All right, well, what we're talking about, though, is 2013's The Wolf of Wall Street. Cost about $100 million to make. It made $400 million. It was a huge movie. I remember when it came out, everybody was talking about it. And for certain circumstances in my life, I wasn't able to watch it. But I'm glad that I went back and I've been able to watch it now, because I was always interested in the film, because this is where I first started hearing about Margot Robbie, for instance, right? Like, I didn't really see her in action until I think the Birds of Prey movie or not Birds of Prey. Yeah, it might be that Birds of Prey movie, because that would have been before the Suicide Squad movie, because I didn't even watch that first Suicide Squad movie that Ayers did. Anyway, so I was excited to check out this movie. I was very surprised by this movie about, I didn't quite realize that it was pretty much a straight up comedy, right? Mm-hmm. And I was expecting, there's a lot of movies that kind of deal with the greed and excess of Wall Street and those fraud stockbrokers and shit like that, right? Wall Street, Oliver Stone, Boiler Room, one of my personal favorites. This movie is interesting because it doesn't moralize or judge anything. It just presents the chaos and the excess as it is. And when I first got done with it, I was like slightly disappointed. I'm like, all right, so this is basically Goodfellas with like that Wall Street Boiler Room set dressing. I mean, it's got like the same structure. It's got the narration. It's going right along with that, but we're not seeing the negative side of things. We're not seeing the victims who are losing their homes. We're not seeing that story. We're not telling that. We're not really even going out of our way to show that this character that Leonardo DiCaprio is playing, which is based on an actual guy. And of course, he wrote the book, The Wolf of Wall Street. So he and himself is kind of like an unreliable narrator. Anyway, it was weird to me that the movie kind of just shows it and then he gets away with it. I mean, I guess that's the point. I don't know. I liked the movie. It was funny. And it definitely has some jokes that I don't think aged very well. And I don't think in 2013 they were probably aging very well. And I remember hearing from a lot of people how misogynistic this movie is. I mean, this was the life that this guy describes as having lived. But I don't know, man. I kind of like it. I don't think it's Martin Scorsese's best film by any stretch of the imagination. I think what it does, Goodfellas does way better, right?
Mhm.
It feels very similar in vibe and tone to Goodfellas, just with missing a certain weight to it, if that makes sense. But I think all the performances are great, and I think the look of the film is top notch. The directing, I like it. I think it's a solid film overall. Phable, you picked it. Tell us about what you think.
Oh, I love this movie, man. My one of my top 5 favorite movies is Goodfellas, right? And I love Casino as well. I don't think Casino is as good as Goodfellas, but it follows that same formula in a lot of ways, and this movie does the same thing. So I'm a fan of this style of storytelling. Whatever he does here, however he presents this story, I love the way he does it. Whether it's, flashing back to the past, going back to the future, sprinkling it all with some music, some good music to bring the story along, the absurdity of things, right? Like, because that's the thing that Scorsese does that I love the best. And I think he does the best, actually, in my opinion, is that he takes these fucking douchebags, right? It doesn't matter if it's Casino, Goodfellas, this movie. He takes these douchebags and he tells this story about them. And they're so charismatic, right? The main character, the characters around him, they're so charismatic that you can't help but like just love the journey, regardless of the shitty shit they're doing. You're still like, this is wild. And then when you think about it, it's like, but is it wild? Right? Like, that's the thing about it. It's like, this shit happened. Like, people do this. People act like this. Yeah, they think like this. There are people like this. And even though he turns them into a caricature or a stereotype or whatever, it's not that far from the truth, which makes it, I think, brilliant, in my opinion. And I love the way he does that. And I love that he did it in a different setting. He took it out of like the mob, right? And he put it into white collar crime and shows you like this shit is the same way on the other side of the fence. It's not just about the seedy dealings of the mob or the criminal underworld. It's up. It's higher. You know what I mean? It goes much higher than you think. And I do agree with you, Robbie. It doesn't have the consequences, and it is a lot funnier than the other movies. But it's still a lot of great performances, a lot of great characters, and it does come crashing down at the end. And when it comes crashing down at the end, it does have a bit of gravity to it, which we'll get into more. But I love this movie, man. I loved it then, and I watched it now, and I was like, yeah, this is still good. This still holds up.
I love what you say about the way he portrays those characters, because they act very much like adolescents in this movie, right? In fact, they act like characters in an Adam Sandler movie. They just actually have a whole lot of money, right? So they're able to get away with a lot of this ridiculous ass shit, copious amounts of drugs, booze, women, all this kind of stuff all over the place. And that is a life that a lot of men at some point in their life kind of idolize or dream about. And it's definitely something that it is shown how arrested the development of these people are, man, especially with their hero worship of what's the main character's name? Is it Jordan?
Yeah, Jordan Belfort.
Yeah, Jordan Belfort.
Well, I mean, have you ever met somebody that's well-to-do and had a conversation with them and felt like, how did this motherfucker get all this money?
Yeah.
How did this guy do this, right? Like, this guy's, he's ridiculous, or he's dumb or something like that. And this is like, yeah, because, you know what I mean? It's all about circumstances and things like that. But no, I love how turned up to 11 everybody is. That's just my favorite part of these movies.
Yeah, 100%. Jelani, what about you? What do you think about this film overall?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it in the movie theater. I watched this like twice. It was one of those movies that like it was a cartoon. It's just a gigantic cartoon. And it shows the excess of Wall Street and how evil these people are. It doesn't show any of the impact, like you said. But at the same time, it tells you the story of how awful these people are and how it doesn't matter that they exist to destroy people's lives and life savings and just take everything that they can possibly get and get by yachts and houses and throw parties and cocaine. Oh, cocaine! It's such a wild thing to watch. And me watching it again, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. It's such a fun movie for as long as it is, but I don't feel the longness of it. Although it could be 2 movies, like you could have made Scorsese could have made this 2 movies to add to Netflix or something like that, and it would have worked. Except for The Irishman, which I refuse to watch because that's 19 hours. But it's something to be said about how it is filmed because of the its breaking of the fourth wall, the way it does it, the way he's like it's like he's talking to us anyway. Like he wants you to be like this. Jordan is like living his entire life for you to sell him that pen. And it's such a fantastic character study. And of course, Margot Robbie. Good Lord Jesus! Woo! Woo! Margot Robbie. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I'm good.
Nice. All right. It definitely feels like a Delaney kind of movie, man. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad to revisit it with you. Brooks, what about you, man? This was a first time watch for you, much like myself. What did you think about the film?
I'm sorry, Phable. I'm so sorry. I did not like this movie. But that being said, there are things I did like about it. So I'll have positive things to say about it. But I think like the reason I didn't watch it initially is because I thought it was about like Wall Street stuff. I figured it was going to be like a movie about stockbrokers and all this boring shit. And it's not really that. It's more of like a kind of an expose on hedonism almost, like from the perspective of this guy. But like the main character is so hollow. He's like just such an empty vessel, and like I hate every character in this movie pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes,
it's too long. My biggest gripe with it is this is too long of a movie to spend on this guy. Like this guy does not deserve a 3-hour epic movie made about him. That being said, like it does have like some high points too. Like I can see why people do like it. It is, and I think it is saying something without trying to be too judgmental on either way about the nature of hedonism and these kind of like stockbroker guys, these kind of American psycho types, and like how they're. And the thing that really bugged me about the movie is that it doesn't give any time to like how these people's business affects the people that they're that they're scamming, basically. Like you basically get a few voices on phones, but like it never touches the fact that these people are like con artists. Like they're not selling anything, they don't produce anything, they're parasites who just like are fleecing gullible rubes. But that being said, I think it's kind of like it's meant to be more. It is Jordan Belfort. This is his autobiography, I assume. Like, so it's telling the stories from his perspective, and I kind of feel like it kind of feels like a lot of a series of stories of like that guy who shit talks. The tall tale guy who just like oh yeah, the other day I was in the office and then like we had like 5 hookahs and we did cocaine off them and all that shit. It feels like a guy just telling yarns about his time, his excessive past. But I think it does have some really high points. There's a lot of titties in this movie. I mean, there's definitely plenty of that. And so it's got its ups and downs. But for me, like overall, like it's just a subject that I'm so disinterested in already, and like it just didn't grab me like other Scorsese movies did.
Yeah.
I don't think this is like near the level of like Goodfellas.
Yeah, I would agree. I do think it's a little long. right? Maybe I mean, just a little bit, man. I feel like 2.5 would be fine on this, and I don't know necessarily what I would cut, but I do feel like it kind of drags a little bit. And also, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I think maybe the idea that it's not moralizing anything is kind of the point, right? Like when you look at Goodfellas, that's what they're doing. He's like, this is their life, this is who they are and what they do, and it's just unapologetically showing that, and it's kind of doing that. It's just for some reason it seems like, I guess because gangsters seem to feel like they, at least to us fictionally, like they have a code, some sense of honor or obligation or brotherhood or some shit. And in this one, but you see some of that shine through in Jordan, like the way he likes to take care of people, and some really, really moments that really kind of shine out there. It's really, I guess a big point is like not everybody is just one thing, even though he is, obviously
an awful monster.
A degenerate is one thing that he definitely is. Joe, what about you? What do you think about this film?
Sure. I mean, I love this movie. I was saying before, it's probably Scorsese's best of the 21st century. It's not Goodfellas, but it's kind of on par with something like Casino, I think. For me, this is like Scorsese apes a lot of other directors he likes, right? Taxi Driver was his Hitchcock movie, and then Shutter Island was his bad Hitchcock movie. So like, there's stuff like that. But here, Scorsese is doing his Paul Thomas Anderson movie. This is a Paul Thomas Anderson movie directed by Martin Scorsese. There's a lot of parallels to things like Magnolia here. And you can see, like, the other thing too is when you look at movies and how they're important, like this movie, independently done. Like, this was not a studio film, and they really went for it, and it paid off for Scorsese, unlike his contemporary Coppola with Megalopolis. But he made a fuck ton of money off this, and you don't have the Sadfi brothers without The Wolf of Wall Street. That movie's fingerprints is all over their work. Good Times, Uncut Gems. You don't have One Battle After Another and Marty Supreme last year without The Wolf of Wall Street. The fingerprints of that movie and the impact of that movie are all over both of those movies. This is a movie that, whether you like it or not, is one of the most influential movies so far in the 21st century. Period. In addition to that, it's fun for me because all four of my grandparents at one point were members of the Brookville Country Club that they shoot and my brother James delivered pharmaceuticals before to the house that they use that Leonardo DiCaprio's in, that giant like mansion on Long Island. So that's fun too. But yeah, I mean, there is a lot of beauty and nuance in this film. You can see that like this does not feel like a fucking 70-year-old man directed this movie at all. You try to find me someone like this movie's high teens, early 20s in terms of like movies he put out.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Tell me, go find another director that their 18th movie or whatever is as good as The Wolf of Wall Street. You're almost certainly going to find maybe a couple, maybe Hitchcock, couple other people.
This is 23rd film, Joe. 23rd film.
23rd film is this good. That is unheard of.
You kind of get that idea when they do that panning shot, the zoom in shot of the yacht, and they're doing Hip Hop Hooray, and the way it's zooming in on.
No, it's crazy that happened. Like, what is Kurosawa's 23rd film?
Oh, I don't know. It's crazy. Look, I think Goodfellas is like his 12th film. So even that, if you think about that, man, the level of success he's had across decades.
His 23rd film was Redbeard, who fucking talks about Redbeard? And it came out in 1965, which is solidly after the highs of Kurosawa's career. Like this is an achievement. Some of this guy's best movies came out in the 70s. What is it? 4 decades later to put out a movie like that? Unheard of. Unheard of.
Yeah,
Period.
you're right. That movie, it does have a very youthful vibrancy and energy to it, right? Like, you know, technically speaking. All right, let's crack into this film, man. Let's talk about some of these great performances. Phable, you picked the movie. You go first.
This is really hard to choose, man. I love so many characters in this movie. This is tough. I guess shit, man. Like, part of me wants to give a little bit of love to John Bernthal, because I love John Bernthal in this fucking movie. I think he was fantastic. But I'm gonna give it to damn, what's his name? His man, his best friend.
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill. Yeah, Jonah Hill. And with those freaking chiclet teeth that he has into the entire movie. He's so fucking dumb, right? Like, he's an idiot. But he is a good ass friend, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's the only one that probably loves Jordan for real, right? Like, everybody, like, kind of like, they're on for the ride. They want what Jordan has. They want to soak in his aura, his energy. And even Jonah to an extent. But Jonah, I don't know, man. He really loves, like, that's his twin, bro. Like, that's his twin. He's not as smart as him, but they have the same likes. They have the same goals. You know what I mean? Everything that Leonardo has in this movie, or all the douchebag qualities, Jonah has it, man. And Jonah's a little even fucking crazier because he married his cousin, which I thought was hilarious. That scene was like, yeah.
Well, yeah, but she's not really like my cousin, you know. She's like, you know, her dad is the brother of my mom.
The way that they did that was so hilarious. And then later in the movie, when the lady was arguing with him or whatever, and she was like, "Oh, whatever, go fuck your cousin," or something. But yeah, Jonah Hill, he definitely, he's transformed. He gives another performance that's way different than anything he's ever done. I think before and after this movie, he kind of showed another layer to his acting ability, right? Because I love him in Superbad, and I think he's super funny. But this movie, he's definitely going for the Oscar, man. He's trying, you know what I mean? And you could tell. So yeah, I'll take Jonah Hill.
Heck yeah. He's committed to the role too, man. Even whips his dick out, man. All right.
No, that was crazy.
What the fuck, dude? Jelani, what about you? What's performance you want to highlight?
Yeah, I'm taking him. I'm taking Leonardo DiCaprio, Jordan Belfort. He's the main part of this movie. I mean, I want him. He's one of those characters that you rarely see that is just unapologetically himself. I have never seen a character play that. And the best scene in the entire fucking movie is when he takes the Quaaludes and they're not kicked in, and then the shit hits the fan and he has to go to get to a payphone. And he wrecks that freaking Lamborghini Countach. That's my dream car. That is my dream car. I want that either cherry red or freaking black. It is gorgeous. White was not the best choice. But, man, oh, God, he plays that character so well. And he falls down the stairs so well. Just that scene alone. I'm like,
What did he say? Well, he was describing the three levels of being high or whatever, and then he's like, I reached the fourth level.
He's the fourth level.
The palsy or something like that. Cerebral palsy level.
Palsied on the floor. It was ruined. And I was like, wow, that really makes me want to try a Quaalude. But it's just one. I have to be in a safe environment.
Oh, goddamn. the 16 years that these things have been in storage delayed their effect, all that shit. He's just talking to the dude, and he's like, "What the fuck are you? Are you high?
Are you high?"
That dude, by the way, who plays his lawyer or whatever, I guess that's who that is, right?
That's
A lawyer.
Bo Dietl.
That's the real
that's
one.
the guy.
That's like the real guy. That's really funny,
Yeah,
man. Really funny.
That's Bo Dietl.
Amazing.
And,
Yeah, Leo DiCaprio does amazing in this film, Delaney.
He's so many facets in this film. It's amazing how he was able to pull this character off. I'm surprised that he didn't. He was Oscar nominated but never won for this. I think it was The Departed the year after this, or a couple years after this, that it happened. But he should have gotten it for this. This is his role. He was born to play Jordan Belfort. It's one of those characters you see like once in a lifetime. I mean, he's such a jackass, and you hate him, but you're like, he got that riz, so it works out. Like he balances it out, and I really appreciate that out of DiCaprio. He does. He plays that role very well.
Yeah, he does, man. Well said. What about you, Brooks? What's a performance to highlight?
Well, one thing is really is like all of the characters are like so detestable that like I ended up rooting for the FBI guy, even though he's kind of an asshole too. He's kind of an asshole too, but like
He's
at
really
least I
good,
think
yeah.
he's working towards like a noble end at least. It was Kyle Chandler, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Kyle Chandler playing Hal Jordan in the new
Kyle
Lantern show. Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
really?
Jordan.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yep.
But,
Lanterns.
yeah, like, and I like that. You have that moment where you think like, is he going to take the bait with Jordan? Offer him the financial advice, but like, I'm glad that he took him down. Even if I thought that Jordan's punishment was extremely unsatisfying, but I have to give the guy credit for at least putting in the effort.
Dude, I love that scene on the yacht, dude.
Yeah.
Where they're they're so cordial to each other. Then he's like, go fuck yourself. You know what? You go fuck yourself too, buddy. All that shit. Like, that's really good. I wish we would have had more of them, right? Like throughout the movie, like more like face to face.
He kind of pushed the background for most of the movie.
Yeah, and he hated Jordan. There was no.
Yeah.
He did not even pretend to like Jordan. He hated Jordan.
Yeah.
He wanted to see him go down.
Yep. Then he's just gonna get off work and go take that subway, right? What about you, Joe? What's the performance that you would like to talk about?
Well, I'll add a little bit more to Kyle Chandler because I think part of why we don't see as much of him and he's colder is because this is Jordan's movie, and we get that he truly does not understand this guy and his motivations.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't get it, and that comes through subtly through the film. This is all very intentional.
Yeah.
And that's like it's structured that way for a reason.
I was gonna ask you, what did you brought it up, Robbie, is that subway scene where he's staring at all the normies in the train, he's on the train. What do you think is going through his mind? And do you think that's Jordan, since it's his story, saying, yeah, he did this all for people who don't give a shit about any of this shit? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
A little bit like that.
That's what I caught off of it.
Yeah, a little bit of that. And also, I think one of the points of the movie is trying to be like, yeah, for that 2 hours, you thought that was a cool way to go, but like that was an entertaining, you like bought in, right? Like we were sold. This movie sells us on this life, and you get into it, you fall, right? And one of the reasons, I mean, because they don't moralize, because you don't see the consequences of those who have lost their life savings and things like that, you kind of go through the majority of this movie just like it's The Hangover or Road Trip or Animal House or something like that, just a regular comedy that you're following along, and not that they're just fucking deplorable douchebags.
Yeah, but the main person I really want to highlight is Margot Robbie here because, and again, this is because this is a brilliant movie, and the way she is portrayed. If you're watching the movie carefully, you understand she is taking Jordan for a fucking ride.
Mm-hmm.
But it's from his POV, and they never lead on to it because he thinks he would never be taken advantage of like that.
Yeah.
So
that is his Duchess. And you come to find out she's a gold digger.
She's a
It's
gold
like,
digger,
duh.
but it's subdued so much. It's
Yeah.
shown in a way that's dismissive because it's like, oh yeah, whatever. Like I'm in control. And the way, and that's something you see more in the movie, and we'll get at with, when we talk about like the structure of the film, but like her performance is great. And they show it very clearly with like his first wife is not a hustler, and
Right.
she just fucking gets kicked to the curb like that. He gets caught cheating on Margot Robbie and they brush it aside. It's like, yeah, I'm still with, like, she clearly did shit to be like, you ain't fucking going anywhere unless you sign a real goddamn fucking check. And like, that's off to the side. That's not the movie because this is Jordan's movie.
Right.
So if you're a keen watcher, you understand the manipulation and the power that Margot Robbie has, but it's subtle and it's all very intentional. And I love it. And I think she delivers that performance perfectly.
When she's gonna leave him, and he says, "Oh, I get it. I'm down. I'm on my last. You know what I mean? The indicted or whatever." And that's when you decide to leave. And she goes, "Well, you married me." He's like, "You married me? What the fuck is that supposed to be?" And it's just like you said, it's a subtle way of showing. It's like, yeah, she's a gold digger, dude. You did this to yourself.
Yeah. She's only here for your money.
You were just so
You're gone now.
into your life. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Matthew McConaughey, very small role, very much a standout. I was kind of disappointed that he didn't come back around in the story, but he's really just kind of there to kind of be like the prototype of what Jordan sees the sound's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, I hope everybody jerked off before the show so that we're all like good and even keeled. Also, I do want to highlight, we talked about one of his films a couple weeks ago, but Rob Reiner in this movie, man, playing the dad. Freaking love him, especially when he loses his shit when like they interrupt his show or whatever. He's like, what happened? What guy? The main guy. It just cracks me up.
The equalizer, man.
Yes, that's what it is.
No, he does the British accent for no reason. Like,
yes, yeah. But I thought he was pretty good in the movie too. All right.
Oh yeah.
Let's get into the technical side of this film, the way it looks, the way it sounds, the way it's put together. You know, sound, vision, story structure, sling blades, and sacraments, and other clunky words. What about you, Phable? What do you think technically about the film?
I think it's gorgeous. I think the movie is absolutely beautiful. I love this style. This style that he invented back in Mean Streets, right? And then just perfected all the way up until now. These like, I don't know, I can't describe it. Like the way he moves the camera past a person, right? Like while they're talking, and these long shots, like, you know, when they're having the party in the office and the drummer people come in and he's just following them through the office, and the cocaine party on the yacht, and just the way he shoots these things. It's just like Joe said. Somebody, you know, shouldn't be putting out this kind of like output, but man, this guy, he still knows how to place a camera, move a camera. He knows how to set a scene. Yeah, and then he knows how to get intimate when it's time to get intimate, when it's time to quiet down and really get these character moments or these dialogue exchanges, right? So it's like fast, slow, fast, slow, fast, slow, and I've always loved that about Scorsese, and he doesn't miss a beat here. You know, he did it in Casino, and it just continues on with this film. So I think structure is awesome. Style is also, I mean, the excess, right? I don't know about you said it had a big budget. It feels like it had $100 million budget, right? Like the office-scapes and the cityscapes that he shows, and the yacht, and the all the rich shit. It looks expensive, and maybe it wasn't that crazy to do, but to me, all the locations, all the places that he shoots this movie in, it feels like a lot, right? It's like a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I think style and structure are fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
I will say this though. I do agree with you, fellas. It could be a little shorter. There are things that I would trim as much as I love this movie. I would say it could be tighter.
Yeah,
But
one thing in
yeah,
particular
still.
when he's crawling to the car,
Right.
when the quaaludes take effect, and like we
Yeah.
could have shortened that down a little bit. The slow motion,
I love
super
it.
high, Jonah Hill running up.
Yeah,
there's things that we
there's
could
little
probably
things.
tighten up, but
For sure.
the movie still feels punchy. I think it's got a nice flow to
Yeah.
it. So even though it could be a little bit shorter, it doesn't really detract from enjoyment of the film because you kind of get engaged and riveted with those shots, with that editing. Scorsese is a master at this stuff, right? He has a sense of being able to make it feel grounded in street, but also glitzy, glamorized in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And that's something I really like about his film.
I also think he adds to his technique a little bit in this film too, right? Like he added a little more layer. Like I love the bank scene where he's talking to the bank guy, and they're they're bullshitting each other, right? Like Jason is Belfort is bullshitting the guy, like trying to act like he's not trying to hide his money or some shit like that, and then the bank guy's acting like he's not trying to steal the fucking money or whatever. And when they're talking, then they have this inner monologue like, "Yes, you American piece of shit. I know what you're trying to say," and that little inner dialogue of what they're truly trying to say, layered on top of the bullshit they're saying, I thought it was awesome. Like another trick that he threw in there that I didn't see in his other movies.
Yeah, and it's pretty much straight edge comedy for the most part, right? Like, has he even really done something that you would consider mostly a comedy since like After Hours? I can't really think of anything in between. It's not Kundun.
I laughed a lot during Shutter Island.
Well, After Hours was a horror movie.
That ending of Shutter Island, hilarious.
Yes.
All right, Jelani, what about you? What do you think about the technical aspects of the film, how it looks and how it sounds?
It looks fantastic. I do like all of his scenes where it does pan the crowd. I love all the pan crowd shots. I have no clue how he's getting the camera to do that without hitting these people in the head, but it works. I guess it's crane work, good crane work. But I love the set pieces. I love that yacht. I want that yacht. I want all the things that Jordan Belfort has in this movie. The way it's set up, the way it's positioned. I'm like, yeah, I'll sell out. I'll sell out quick. But it's just the way the stuff looks and the way they are. I wouldn't do so much the drugs. I think I'll live the drugs out. The drugs kind of ruined him. And like, you never see him once, by the way, face the consequences of the drug use. I think even when he's out of jail, he immediately goes back to cocaine.
It's the story's told like one of those bro guys telling you about their night at the club. And then we did like 3 Jaeger bombs, we did like 4 lines of blow, and then it's like bragging almost in a way, right?
It is a very braggadocious movie, and it tells it through his eyes. And like I said, he is a very unreliable narrator. I mean, the car alone, the damn Countach alone, it hurts me. Every time I see that car wrecked, I'm like, why did you do that to that beautiful vehicle? It never meant to do that. And I'm like, oh, they had to wreck a car for this movie. And I'm like, oh, it still hurts me to this day. But it's structured pretty well. Like I said, you could shave about, I'd say about 35 minutes off this movie, and it still work very well. It does a few things like that. The music is here and there. It's fine. I do like Insane in the Membrane. It needed to be where it needed to be.
It's interesting to me to see Scorsese use contemporary songs of the 90s for certain scenes, because we're used to him playing a lot of the music that he would have been more into. Like, it's very interesting seeing some of those choices.
But it's a younger man. It's a younger man. So it's a younger time for that. So, I mean, I get some of that. Get some to all of it. There's a lot of different things that go on in this film that I was impressed with. Like, just the way the blurry shots are for the plane rides and the bros night out, like the whole and the bachelorette party. All of them are shot like it was just a blur. And I like how that is filmed and how it was structured that way. There's just a lot of different things that it's so cool to watch in this film. And I think what else? I think that's about it. I mean, that's everything I can think of about how much I appreciate that we were given this side of how evil a piece of shit these people are, and we need to see why they're doing it and why they're still doing it to this day. And Martin Scorsese shines a brilliant light on it. I think it does an excellent job of it.
Absolutely. You know, and it grabs your attention. It just drags you through. And a lot of that is that style, but a lot of it is that writing too. The writing was done by Terrence Winter, who most people will know as the creator of Boardwalk Empire. I think the dialogue is very good. And like also with the dialogue and the breaking of the fourth wall, the narration, and just with the style of it, like making an office space seem exciting and seem interesting visually. Is something that was very, very cool to me in this movie. What about you, Brooks? What do you got? Got some thoughts about the technical sides of the film, the writing, the cinematography, whatnot?
Oh yeah, like as far as the style, like it's Scorsese, like it's still great. Like I didn't like I think the subject of this movie is a bit boring, but Scorsese like tells the story in a very interesting way. Like, despite the fact that, I didn't enjoy this movie as much as I was hoping to, like, I did enjoy it. Like, there wasn't a point, like, maybe towards the end, I was a little bit like, oh man, I forgot how long, like, this movie's 3 hours, like, but it does, it keeps you interested, and I think what I really enjoyed about the movie is, like, there's it kind of has a parallel to my pick, Spinal Tap. And that the main character is so unself-aware about, like what kind of guy he is. So like when he does something like, where he whines about, the feds going after him for his crimes. It's like, oh, how dare, why would they be going after me? He's like, yeah, it's because you're doing crimes, dude. He's like, he has, and I love how early on, like, Leonardo DiCaprio, like, when he's first starting out, he's working with McConaughey. He does have kind of like, a kind of almost aw shucks attitude about it. Like, like he's seeing this kind of debauchery for the first time. So yeah, I think it's paced really well too. Like, I do think it could have been like, a half hour shorter. Like there were certain scenes I think were like pretty unnecessary, but it's still a great Scorsese movie. And the soundtrack is good, but like, it didn't really, like normally a movie like this, it would like, it's kind of got that, like almost a kind of mixtape soundtrack, like a Dazed and Confused or something, but it doesn't really like, I couldn't really like pin down like what era of time he was trying to capture with it, which is kind of good, I guess. Cause it's like that era that Jordan Belfort, I guess, was working, and it was a very forgettable, like, era as I recall, like, I've forgotten most of it, but
What's the 90s, man?
The 90s.
I thought it was like the
charm, man.
No, it was the 90s. So it's
God,
the 90s kind of just like a retread of the 80s in a way for these guys.
Everything's a retread of everything, man.
Yeah.
Well, what about you, Joe? What do you think about the technical aspects of the film?
All right. I mean, I think it's fantastic. I have no problem with 3 hour runtime. I realized on Friday at 11 o'clock, I was like, fuck, I've got a busy weekend. I got shit going on Monday. I got to start this. I watched the whole thing in one sitting. I stayed up. I didn't nod off at all. I was like, wow. And I just like watched the whole 3 hours. I didn't have any problem. Also, keep in mind, this is not a studio film. We are watching the director's cut. That is, Scorsese got to do his cut of the movie. The first like edit or pass or whatever was like over 4 hours. He trimmed it down himself. We got the movie Scorsese wanted.
Intended, yeah.
If a studio got it, it probably would have cut it. But this is the director's cut. This is not a studio movie, and there are differences. The score's inspired the whole point of it being blue, like it's not about period at all. It's about mood, juxtaposition. They decided it doesn't matter if it's period appropriate. Like Goodfellas is very period appropriate. For this movie, we need chaos. What's a song that brings out chaos and raw energy in these moments? It does not matter when the song came out. It matters the feeling. And on top of that, there's a lot of blues tracks throughout. The whole point of that, it's all super intentional, is the juxtaposition of these songs about people with deep struggles that have money issues and women issues, as we watch these guys that couldn't relate to these songs if they wanted to. It's inspired. It's beautiful. It's well thought out. This is a more well thought out soundtrack than most of the movies we watch. Just in general, not just here, that come out. This got nominated and it lost to Frozen, but the soundtrack was nominated for an Oscar. This is a great fucking soundtrack that's thoughtful and is doing something intelligent with the music.
Hell yeah, man. I like that. All right. Let's get into theme. This movie's got some themes, even though it may not like show the dire consequences of the drug use or this lifestyle or the victimization of some of these people that had literally their life savings ripped away from them, families destroyed, things like that. We've seen those movies. We've seen Wall Street. We've seen Boiler Room. We've seen those, right? This isn't trying to do that. It's doing it in a different way. Phable, what about you, though? What's this movie speaking to you? What do you pull out of it?
Well, I think this movie is literally what the father said. The chicken's coming home to roost, right? Like everything they've done coming back to them to haunt them towards the end of the film. But for me personally, I think it's blatantly about addiction and what addiction could do to you. Like, and it doesn't matter. And Belfort had every fucking addiction. He had, you know what I mean? Drug addiction, money addiction, woman addiction, fast life addiction. He was an addict of the purest form. Like, and that was what he lived for, was that rush, right? He wanted that. What did he call them? Lemons? He Quaaludes,
yeah.
Right? Or whatever it is. I don't know what he called. Yeah, but he had it down to a science where he was like, these are the 750 ones, the lemon. These are the various. Like he explained why this.
He's a drug nerd.
So fucking important. Yeah, like you know what I'm saying. The
like we ain't never been there, bro.
Yeah.
Look at the trichomes on this, man.
Yeah,
dude, it's like a Christmas tree.
The women,
the Mexican red hair, dude.
He classified the women like these are the Nasdaqs. He called one of them Nasdaqs or some shit like that, and he had like levels to them, and all the addictions he's had, and then what happens when it's taken all away? When you have to stop cold turkey kind of shit, right? Like, and even though they don't show him learning his lesson, he kind of accepts his fate in a lot of ways, right? Like he could no longer run, and that happens on the boat when they get rescued from the boat, right? He looked at everything that was going on, and they didn't show it, but it does flash forward 2 years from that point.
Yeah.
Where he's off of the alcohol, right? He's off of the drugs. Even his boy can't believe it when his boy comes to visit him. Like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying?
He's like, it's miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when the wife leaves and he has that crazy visceral emotional fucking reaction to that happening and then settles with that as well. Right. And then settles with the fact that he's going to jail. When he gets waken up, he's like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. Like, this is what life has for me. Screw it. I think it's a story to me deeply about addiction. And luckily, he got out of it. You know what I mean? He figured it out. Maybe too late, but he did eventually figure it out. And sometimes you would hope that people who are addicted to things and do fucking crazy shit would get it sooner. You know, that they would not have to go through these things that he goes through to find out the shithead that he's been, or the ambitions that he has weren't really fucking real ambitions. They're like the shit that he made up in his head. So yeah, I think it's a movie about addiction.
Yeah, nicely put, man. I like that. What about you, Jelani? What's this movie speaking to you if you dig in?
Yeah, it's Phable. I piggyback off you, man. That was great. It is addiction. It's the when you're never told no.
Yeah.
That feeling of always being right, even though it's blatantly wrong. And we have several people in office that are kind of like that now, so it's kind of weird. But to see never being told no and not really having any consequences for it, it feeds that ego. That man is nothing but pure ego. And it didn't lead technically to his destruction. He lost his wife and his standing and never traced stocks again, and as a felon and all the things you lose. But
I think
the
he
weird
still
part
owes the
about
victims. I think the real one, he still owes his victims like almost $100 million or something like that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he does.
Yeah, he's still paying for this. Because I mean, it's horrible what he did. It's absolutely horrible, and even though he shares really no consequence, it feels like he's just getting away with it though. It just feels like he hasn't learned anything, and you can be addicted to everything, and still, and his number one addiction was money, that greed, that love of money is the root of all evil situation where it takes over, and you can't really function without it because it fuels all of my other addictions. He even tells you in the movie, he says, I've been poor man and I've been a rich man, and I'll be a rich man every time. I'll choose being rich every time. It's one of those things where he knows that in order for him to live his dreams and be in what he refers to as heaven a lot of times in this movie, he has to do these awful things. And there's a legitimate way to do it. I mean, I'm pretty sure he could have still been legitimate with it, but he found those loopholes, and his addiction pulled him into those rabbit holes where he could have he could get $1 million here on the side and $1 million here on the side, and just keep the earnings. And it just made him more and more addicted to what his life was going to be. And it's a horrible state of affairs, but for a while there it worked for him. So of course my overall thing is always sell out, kids. Always sell out.
Can I add something real quick to that?
Yeah, sure.
It feels like he never really pays for it. These people never really pay for it. They never did in real life, and people like them don't pay for it.
Not right now.
Not like the people on our level of life. In their level of life, they don't. And that's the point, right? Like, that's what they're trying to show. His paying for it is staring out at this crowd and saying, this is my fucking life now. These schmucks who can't sell a pen. That's where it hurts. That's his punishment. That's his hell. And like Joe said, it's very nuanced, but it's there. You just got to check it out. You got to peep it.
Hell yeah. Nicely put. What about you, Brooks, man? What are you feeling?
There were 2 points when I was watching this movie in which I was like just so annoyed with the main character's attitude. One of them was when he was giving his speech, when he was planning to quit, and he talks about this lady that I guess he'd employed a long time ago. She was with him in the beginning, and she tells a story about how he gave her money to put her kid through college, and that really annoyed me because it was like, oh yeah, it's like he's jerking himself off, but he'll never think about all of the single mothers who probably lost everything because of him and his business, And another one is the end where he's like, he finally he gets his comeuppance, he's going to face justice. But he's like, oh yeah, and then I remembered I was rich, so he gets to go to the country club penitentiary where he used to be the captain of the fucking tennis club for however long he had to fucking stay in there. Just like it's this idea, like there's people talk about a two-tier justice system, and it's true, man. And that's why these guys like Jordan Belfort, they're so like indignant about even being pursued. It's like why are the feds even wasting time like chasing me down? They don't see themselves as criminals. They see themselves as entrepreneurs, businessmen. It doesn't matter that they're breaking the law. It's just you got to make the number go up. You got to make the line go up. That's all these guys care about. It's all they're focused on. And they just don't understand why it's wrong to take from people who are just too gullible to know any better. But and the end, even at the end, he's doing the whole bit with the pen, and I thought that was a kind of an interesting tidbit that this movie did about the nature of salesmanship, where John Bernthal's character, when he does it to him, he gives him the right answer. It's like, hey, I need you to sign your name. He's like, I don't have a pen. It's like, oh, well, how about that? It's about creating a need for something, but these guys don't create anything. They are,
right.
They're just parasites, and they deserve to be stopped, but they don't see it that way. Jordan Belfort certainly doesn't seem to think that, he deserved his downfall, but, he definitely did. I think that's one thing that Scorsese kind of does right is this guy did deserve to go down. He is, I don't have a problem with, someone, being wealthy or being extravagant, as long as, within the bounds of the law, as long as they're doing it the right way. But, guys like these, they always tend to, it's like they can't help themselves, it's like they get a momentum going and they just keep going and they keep going. They have to keep going. But I do hope, I don't know what Jordan Belfort's doing these days, but I hope someday he finds the kind of happiness that he will never achieve by just pursuing this lifestyle.
What he does now is he does seminars teaching people how to sell people.
So he's doing how to be a con man.
Pretty much, yeah.
That makes sense. I guess it was too much to hope, but who knows?
He teaches
maybe
others.
He'll see the light one day.
What about you, Joe? What you thinking?
Well, I mean, again, this movie is it does part of what I love about this movie is it doesn't treat the audience like they're morons, and it's really it's subtle. And what the movie's about, what it's really saying, really exemplifies all of that, because it's everyone's just looking at this movie from the wrong viewpoint. It has nothing to do about teaching the audience or a viewer anything, except it has nothing to do with morals. This movie is about, now you understand why people do this and get away with it every time. Mm-hmm. That is what you're taking from this movie. That is what you're learning. You're like, oh, I don't get, when's the comeuppance? What's this? Why doesn't this person realize that they're hurting these people? They don't. That's the point of the movie.
Yep.
The point of the movie is these people don't see the victims, and that's what helps them keep going. These people don't get punished for their actions, and that's why they keep going. That's the point of the movie. That's what you're supposed to take from it. You're supposed to get out of that movie and be like, I fucking get why this system doesn't work. It's not giving me an answer, but that's not what this is about. It's about understanding how people like this exist, how they function, and why they keep doing it every time. He even explains it to you at the end. Yeah, I went to jail, but it was 22 months. I was playing tennis and there were no armed guards and stuff. Yeah. It was great. And it's the movie's all but telling you really this is why we fucking do it, guys, and we're just gonna keep doing it. And
that's a great parallel to that bit in Goodfellas, right? Where he's prison's different. And when you're inside, it's different for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well said. I like that. I mean, I agree. I think that's the point of the movie. I think the movie is also trying to get us to kind of fall into it, right? Like we wind
Yeah.
up kind of like almost being on their side at times and just laughing along with it and just shrugging off the terrible conversation they're having about dwarves,
Mhm.
right? And they
Yeah.
keep
Yeah.
saying it,
This is
you know,
awful.
and they just like and this shit they're saying in it, but it's hilarious, but it's
Yeah.
also just so wrong. And these guys are
Mhm.
douchebags, right? They live this thing it's about excess, right? And I think they're lulling us in, and you kind of like start getting like dopamine hits watching this movie, man, and kind of vicariously living through it. And I think at the end of the day, yeah, he didn't really, there's no big comeuppance or whatever. He did ruin his life, the being addicted to excess is what I think
Yeah.
he's into, right? And it's like reminds me of this John Mayer song, twice as much ain't twice as good, and can't sustain as one half could, and wanting more is gonna send me to my knees, right? And that is what kind of happens to him. But at the same time, man, the movie paints it in a kind of glamorized way a little bit. And at the end of it, we're kind of like, it's almost like a feel good kind of movie, man. I think it's I think it's kind of turning the mirror around to us
Yeah,
a little
exactly.
bit there too. So heck yeah, great conversation so far. All right, now it's time to rate this film. We've had some interesting movies during Crew's Choice. Night Riders, we all kind of rated it very high, even though we thought it had some issues. This is Spinal Tap, Hero, back-to-back, cross-the-board perfect scores. What's going to happen tonight? Phable, kick us off. You out there in the chat, let us know what you would rate this film out of 5 possible you digs.
Yeah, I mean, I I already stated, I love this kind of style of movie, right? I love the style that Scorsese does with these things, with taking these these bad people, um, showing parts of their lives that would otherwise be absurd to the regular person, but at the same time, like it's so absurd, it's funny, but it's like, but it's true too, and that's what makes it crazy. Like, and I love that kind of like, I don't know, there's something about that that I love. Um, but this is not. So I'm gonna break that right away, Robbie. This is not my favorite Scorsese film, right? Like I agree with you. I think Goodfellas, his original, is the most tightest, perfect version of doing what I just described, taking the bad guy, whatever. Because with Henry Hill, you kind of feel a little more for him, but Henry Hill's he's a dirtbag too, right? He's cheating on
And
his
he's a
wife.
murderer.
He's doing all this, and he's a killer,
Yeah.
right? Like, and
Yeah.
he's a murderer. Um, but like, I like how you said something about turning the mirror on yourself a little bit, doing that, because when one thing about Jordan that's different from everybody, and the cop tells him this, he says, "You're different because you did this yourself. Like, you made yourself into this. Other people are inherited this lifestyle, right? Like they're giving it, their father gives it to them or whatever, their family. It's inherited. Whereas you came from nothing and became this guy. And there's something about that, because when you come from nothing, you quickly realize that you don't have the same opportunities that other people have, and that life isn't fair in that fucking way. Like, why me, kind of thing. And it's like, but you know what? I'm not gonna let myself be that. I'm gonna get what I want by any means necessary. And yeah, sure, that makes you the fucking bad guy. And most of us that come from that place, we kind of learn quick in life, like, oh, you're gonna be dead or in jail. So it backs you up a little bit, right? But some people don't. That shit don't hit them the way it hits everybody else, right? Some people are wired different. So I love that it kind of does turn the mirror on itself, because given a little bit of power, every one of us might do a little bit. You know what I mean? That maybe
Sell out, kids.
more than everybody else. But you never know how you're gonna be when you can have it all, and nobody can tell you no, right? You never know. I don't care how fucking good you are, how Superman's your favorite hero in the world. Shit's different in real life. You know what I'm saying? Circumstances are circumstances. Shit is not. We can think about this greater version of ourselves, but let's not kid ourselves here. You know what I mean? So there's a little part of that I love about this movie, but again, it's not my favorite Scorsese. I think it is phenomenal though. 4.5.
4.5. All right. I like that vibe, Phable. Thank you for setting the tone. Jelani, what about you? What do you rate this film out of 5, you digs?
This film is amazeballs just because of Margot Robbie. This also gets 4.5. This is a 4.5 deal. Margot Robbie is gorgeous in this film. It was introduced to her in this film. It changed my life in different ways. It's also a great character study on how evil everyone can be when given an opportunity. And it's impressive to me that you get a film like this from Mr. Scorsese once or twice or 3 times a decade. The man is very impressive. It is a great body of work, except for The Irishman, which I will refuse to watch. I refuse. I absolutely refuse. And if you do it, Robbie, I will not watch it with you. I apologize.
I mean, I've already watched it before. I like the movie. It's a little long.
Watching 14 hours of a movie.
It's a little long, and the biggest problem with it, man, they do this de-aging thing, and that's fine, but like they don't de-age their body, so it's still like, even though it's supposed to be a 30-year-old Robert De Niro, he's still moving like an 80-year-old. You know, it's a little weird, man.
It's cool. And I've seen Hoffa.
It's like when you watch that Indiana Jones movie and they de-aged his face, but then he talks, and you're like, he's talking like a 70-year-old.
Like an old man.
It doesn't make any sense.
Get off my yard.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
All right, a 4.5 from Jelani. All right, I like that. Brooks, what about you, man? I don't think you liked it as much as these two. Where are you sitting?
Yeah, like, I didn't enjoy the movie as much, but, I can appreciate, what went into it. Like, I think it is a well-made movie. And like, I do kind of appreciate, what it's trying to say. So I give it 3.5. Like, it's a good movie. It just was not my cup of tea. Like, it just, like, I found the character of Jordan like so repellent that, like, I don't get as much amusement out of him as I feel like some people should. But like, that being said, like, Martin Scorsese, he's still got it. So like, I got to give him props for that at least.
Like, yeah, 3.5, nicely put there. Brooks, what about you, Joe? What you sitting on?
An easy 5. Easy. Like everything I was explaining before, like the fingerprints of this movie are going to live on for decades. This is his take on Paul Thomas Anderson. Easily top 25 of the decade, or not the decade, the century so far. Easy. It's subtle, it's smart, it's slick, it's fresh. It's a fresh movie from a geriatric man. Like that doesn't happen.
It's true.
For no one, again, other than probably Hitchcock, not probably, definitely Hitchcock. Other than that, who else's 23rd movie is anywhere near as good as this? Anywhere near as feels tapped in to what is going on in the world, can pull these kind of performances. This is a genuine feat, this movie. And 2 Academy Award nominated movies and the Academy Award winner this year don't exist in the same way without The Wolf of Wall Street. The movie that swept the Oscars, The Wolf of Wall Street's fingerprints are all over that fucking movie. Like, it's very clear. Like, this movie is going to continue affecting cinema for decades to come. When people eventually talk about movies in the 21st century, in the next century, No Country for Old Men's definitely going to be talked about. And The Wolf of Wall Street is absolutely going to be talked about as a highlight of the 2010s. Absolutely, no question.
Joe, I'm telling you what, man, when I got done watching this movie, I was kind of disappointed. Then over the course of a few days, as it kind of dwelled, my appreciation rose a little bit. You're really selling me hard on rewatching this movie with that. Like, for instance, I didn't even notice that shit with the blues music. I remember there being blues music in there, but I didn't remember that in the juxtaposition of that with their lifestyle. That is so, I don't know. That being said, I think when I first got out of this, I was tempted to go 3.5, but I'm very comfortable saying 4. 4 you digs for me. I think it's a really good movie. It's fun. It's entertaining. And I think that there's more for me to sink into on multiple watches going forward in the future. So definitely something I want to revisit. Marty is one of those directors where I want to own every single one of his films. I did up to a point on DVD, but I don't on Blu-ray. So this is one I would definitely want to buy and rewatch. So 4 from me, 4.5 from Phable and Jelani, 3.5 from Brooks, and a 5 from Joe. That's a PCP average of 4.369, dude.
Oh yeah,
pretty solid rating there. Thus concludes our movie review of Phable's pick, The Wolf of Wall Street. Next week, it's Jelani's birthday. So it's Jelani's pick. Very excited. I've never seen this movie either. The Equalizer.
Oh, it's good.
Starring Denzel Washington. Very, very excited. This is Jelani's pick for Crew's Choice, and also join us in celebrating Jelani Day. It's going to be super fun.
And I have to work. Those fuckers.
It's great.
First time in 20 years. Good times.
Heck yeah, dude. It's going to be a good day, man. The Equalizer. Very excited for that. Phable, thank you so much for this pick. This has been a great choice, a great pick for you for Crew's Choice. What you got going on? Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Yeah, I'm glad you watched this. I was really excited to hear what you thought about it. I think you're spot on. I could understand Brooks where he's coming from. I can understand where you're coming from. I totally get it. This is not a guy that there's no redeeming qualities about him. There's nothing, you know. And like Brooks said, he thought it was going to be about Wall Street, and it's not. It totally isn't. Like he tells you that. He's like, well, this is penny stocks and this is but you don't care about that shit.
Man, that shit is like super boring. I'm like,
oh yeah.
So I understand it, but at the same time, I think it's a great black comedy. I think it's a continuation of that style of film. If you love Goodfellas, if you love Casino, this is another one that's in that vein and a little different. So I'm glad you watched it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I think you're great. I think your rating was solid, man. Obviously, I didn't think it was 5 either. You know what I mean? So
I don't know. Joe I felt like he was shaming us all a little bit, man.
You know,
There's a lot going on in this movie that I think was getting glossed over, but that's fine.
Joe because you know what it is? I think it's a little too ludicrous at times. Like it's a little too fucking out of control. Like, you know what I mean? Where it's a little too funny, kind of like. Whereas the other one's a little more dialed back, a little more serious, a little more grounded. But then again, is it like these Wall Street rich dudes, dude? Like, crazy.
They
shit.
probably do worse.
They probably did worse for sure.
Yeah,
they probably killed some of those girls.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real.
At least with the mafia, it's like, yeah, I could see those guys, right? Like, chances are they were in somewhere around my neighborhood. You know what I mean? Doing whatever, they're running numbers and shit. So it's a little more relatable than this. I'll never see those rooms. I'll never see those rooms. You know what I mean? But anyway, thank you. Yeah. It was a great watch. Thanks for letting me pick it, and thanks for watching and enjoying it. Friday night, this Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, the Absolute Blame Phable Show. We are on our 5th episode, man. So far, it's been a freaking blast, man, hanging out with a bunch of new faces that we got on the show now, or rotating in and out. We had Robbie on not too long ago on the 3rd episode. That was a great time, man. We had a fantastic time that night. Yeah. So, yeah, man, come hang out with us. You know, just a bunch of nerds. Recommending, talking about the news, showing off our shit, you know, just a regular Friday night hangout, but PCP style, you know what I'm saying? So come hang out with us, and that's it, man. Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah, man. That one episode that I recently joined you guys on felt like Wolf of Wall Street. Felt like we were living that life there for a moment, man. It's pretty fun. I was into some tequila that night, man. It's pretty fun. Jelani, thank you so much for being here. Final thoughts, man. What you got going on?
Yeah, man. Good times had by all. This was a great film, Phable. Good pick. I hadn't watched it in years, and I'm glad I got to watch it again. Just fantastic conversation as well. And Brooks, I understand. I
Yeah.
understand.
Mhm.
But Brooks, another thing we do, is go figure reviews. And we didn't do a video this week, but last week we did a wonderful video about the movie He-Man and Battle Cat from the lovely new Masters of the Universe film that I will be watching hopefully a little bit after my birthday. Hopefully it is good. I hear good things.
Yeah.
So check out our video and see good things about us. We are slowly approaching 900 subscribers. So keep subscribing and watching our videos about show and tell toys and stuff. And I think that's it. Get out there, of course, and go figure.
Jelani, I'm not one to tell a grown-ass man what to do, but I would suggest that you temper down your expectations on that Masters of the Universe film.
Stop! Do not ruin my expectations.
I'm just saying, maybe we just temper it down, man. Start them lower. And then there's only room to grow.
The malarkey and Grok. I'm not. I won't watch that.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. I don't know, man. I'm so nervous about this movie. Brooks, what about you, man? What final thoughts? What you got going on, man?
Oh yeah, just once again, go figure reviews. We do that. I'm very funny. I tell lots of jokes. And I'm handsome too. You don't see I'm handsome as much. But if you check out the selfies, you can see I'm on point, so fresh and so clean and so forth and so on. Tonight's figure I've been messing around. This is a Warbird, Miss Marvel.
Ooh.
She's pretty good. I like her.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, them thighs, son, them
The
thighs.
But yeah, also get out there and go figure.
Heck yeah, man. Appreciate it. Joe, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure. It's always cool because it's always like we got the same crew every time we do a Martin Scorsese film. And I love that.
Nice.
Yeah. So final thoughts, Joe. Tell us what's going on with you.
Sure. I'm going to swing down to Fan Expo Philly on Saturday. So that should be fun if you're around and you see me. Say hi, but don't be weird or whatever. Then I've got Ruth Roche, the Phantom Hand of Comics. Been going to be promoting that. You can start pre-ordering it. It's going to be out in October. It is the story of one of the first women in comics. This is one of those times I hate when everyone promotes things with you're not ready or you have no idea, but no, literally you have no idea. You don't know who this person is. So I'm excited for people to check that out and learn more about Ruth and the history of comics. I still keep posting stuff for Here's Mopin'. It's a little cartoon I do post on Instagram with Chase Bluestone. I think we're going to be dropping a new one tomorrow. So, check that out. And maybe we'll maybe put out a zine later, maybe do a Kickstarter later in the year, put that out. Because, I don't know if any of you noticed, traditional comics publishing could be a little stronger right now overall. And creators doing Kickstarters or other crowdfunding is a way to keep putting more stuff out. So keep an eye out for something like that too.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, appreciate everybody checking out the show. Wolf of Wall Street, Phable, what a great pick. Next week is Jelani's pick, The Equalizer. Never seen this one, man. So in fact, all the rest of the Crew's Choice I have not seen, except for the audience winner, which was Hot Fuzz. I've seen that one before. But yeah, I've never seen any of the other ones. And any of y'all tell me y'all have seen Le Cercle Rouge or whatever the hell it's called?
I have.
All right, we're dipping out, man. For my final thought, sell me this pen.